السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. اسمي لين Abdullah, and my topic is going to be language change, a social linguistic perspective. Language is not static. It shifts, adapts, and transforms over time. These changes are not random. They are deeply connected to how people interact, move, and identify themselves within societies. From the way Kiyako wrote in the 14th century to how we communicate today, English has undergone dramatic shifts. Similarly, with Arabic, dialects have evolved in pronunciation, grammar, and vocabulary. Though these changes are often hidden beneath the surface of a standardized written forms. We have some challenges in studying Arabic change. Standardized written Arabic makes spoken change. Written Arabic, modern standard Arabic, and classical Arabic has been standardized for centuries. Because of this, it remains relatively stable across time and regions, which hides the natural change happening in spoken dialects. So while people's pronunciation and spoken grammar evolve, the written form stays the same, making it harder for researchers to trace phonetic or grammatical change over time. And the second challenge here, historical sources like Subi al-Kitab provide clues. Ancient linguistic texts such as Subi al-Kitab 18th century record phonetic details that show how Arabic was pronounced in earlier periods. These records help linguists understand how certain sounds have shifted over time. Example of sound change: the phoneme "dot", originally pronounced as an empathetic literal fricative, written in ABA as la, which is a strong fiction like la sound with certain generalization. Today it's pronounced as the, an empathetic voiced stop like a heavy the. This shows a clear shift in pronunciation over time, even though the written symbol the dot remained the same. Moreover, we have historical linguistic studies how language change over time. One key technique is the comparative method, which helps linguists reconstruct earlier languages called proto-languages. For example, Proto-Indo-European or Proto-Semitic. This method compares related languages to find systematic sound correspondences, meaning regular patterns in how sound change between languages. For example, the word for land shows such patterns. In Arabic, it's ard. In Aramis, it's arf. In Hebrew, it's ars. By examining these similar but slightly different forms, linguists can work backward to understand the original sound and meanings in the Proto language. Also here in this slide, social linguistics and language change focuses on how social factors influence the way languages evolve over time. One important figure, William Labov, showed that language change happens because of human interaction and social dynamics. Labov explained that before a new way of speaking becomes common, there is always a period of variation where different forms exist side by side. For example, one form A gradually change into another form B. A good example is found in Amman, Jordan, where two different pronunciations of the letter G exist. The G sound used by many Jordanians, the glottal stop used by Palestinians. These variants compete and reflect social and generational differences in the community, showing how language change is tied to identity and social interaction. Studying change in real time means observing how language changed as it happens rather than only looking at the past. There are two main methods. The first method, trend studies. Researchers repeat earlier studies but with new groups of people to see if language patterns have changed. The second method, panel studies. Researchers follow the same group of people and interview them multiple times over a period to track how their language use changed. For example, in 2009, Al-Quoz repeated a study from 1987 by holes on Bahraini dialects. This showed that the language was still changing, confirming ongoing shifts in how people speak. Studying change in apparent time is a method where researchers use different age groups to understand how language has changed over time. They assume that older speakers represent an earlier stage of the language, while younger speakers show more recent change. However, this method has more limitations because it assumes adult speech stays the same throughout their lives. But in reality, some adults adjust their way of speaking to fit new social norms. For example, in Damascus, younger people tend to pronounce the ra sound more like an approximate ra, while other speakers use a different pronunciation. This shows how language changed across generations. There are two main types of language change based on awareness and social stature. The first type is change from above. This type of change happens in conscience. People adopt a prestige, a high stature way of speaking, often to sound more modern, educated, or respected. Example, in Saudi Arabia, some speakers might change the Najdi T sound to the Jeddah Ka sound because Ka is seen as more prestigious in that context. And the second type is change from below. The first type is consciously. This type is unconsciously, without people noticing. It's part of natural internal change within a speech community. Example, in some rural Palestinian dialects, the qa sound, the deep qa, can shift over time like this. Qa, ka, tis. That means that qa changed first to ka, then to tis in casual or local speech. It can also change to tish, and especially among younger speakers. Case study in interdentals in Arabic. This case study looks at how interdental sounds are changing in some Arabic dialects. Traditional vs urban variant. In traditional Arabic, speakers use interdental sound like the tha, like in think, tha, pronounced tha. The pronounced that. But in many urban dialects, like in Cario or Beirut, these sounds are merged with the stop consonant. The tha becomes ta. That becomes da. And some social factors in Jordan, women are leading the shift. They use the stop sounds ta that more than the traditional interdentals. In Saudi Arabia, there are social stigma against losing the interdentals, so people are less likely to change how they speak. In conclusion, language is constantly evolving, shaped by both internal linguistic systems and external social factors. Through methods like the comparative method, real-time studies, and operant time analysis, we can trace how sounds, words, and structures shift over time. Social linguistics factors such as gender, class, identify, and region play a key role in driving or resisting change. From historical sound correspondences to modern day shifts in Arabic dialects, these changes reveal how deeply language is connected to culture and community. Understanding language change not only helps us study the past but also offers insight into how into societies grow and interact today.